I want to share 3 of my favorite websites for studying scripture. This first one is the first one I ever discovered. It's called the Bible Gateway. You get there, BibleGateway.com. And I just want to show how you can do a keyword search. And you say any word you want. Say shepherd. And you go down, it's going a little slow because I've got this magnified pretty big. And then it gives you more criteria to choose. Say you want the New King James Version. You know it's somewhere in Psalms. If you want to search the entire Bible, you can. Click on that. Or you may say, oh, I want to search for it in the Gospels. But no, I know that Scripture's in the Psalms. You want to search only the Psalms. If you wanted to change that to something else, you could change it from Psalms to Isaiah. And it just narrows down your search and makes it go quicker. So you let their search engine do its trick, and there you go. You'll find every place that shepherd is used between Psalms and Isaiah. So I wanted to point out that website. The other website I'd like to point out is the Bible Hub. And I've already got it where I wanted to show everybody things. The 2 things I love the most at this Bible site is that you can read things in Hebrew. Now if you happen to be studying a scripture that's in the New Testament, that's going to be in Greek. And when you go to that, you'll see that you'll have Greek here, or you'll have interlinear. And I also like the parallel. I like to go down to the parallel because that shows me all these different Bibles that you can read, how they've done it. And then I like to look at the cross references because it just gives you some more insight. But I also like to look at the Hebrew. And what I've found very, I guess, exciting or revealing to me is that, like, if you see here, it only took 3 words to say that, but in English it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in Hebrew it was actually only 3. But this word right here is actually a combination of these words. And that's because the Hebrew, they conjugate like the pronoun he, she, we, you, I within the verb. And that's similar to what they do in Spanish. If you want to compare it to another language, Spanish, you will have the pronoun within the verb. So anyhow, and the other thing that I found is that they changed Yahweh to Lord in English, which was a shock to me when I first found it out. I didn't think anybody would change that, but they did. Anyhow, these are things I like to look at, and then also over here on the side, these numbers are the Strong's dictionary, and it takes you to the root. It's not going to give you all the pronoun and everything, but it takes you to Yeshua, salvation. It comes from the root word Yasha, and it gives you some of the more deeper definitions to that word. And the third site that I like to share with people, and I use all 3 of these together. Say I wanted to research Yeshua even deeper. So I go and I do a search. I exclusively, this is called the blueletterbible.org, but I exclusively use this lexicon. I don't think I use anything else on this site because I can look up a word, and I usually use the Strong's number, and I may have gotten that Strong's number either here. Yeah, that's where I usually get it. I usually get it here. And sometimes I'll first find a verse. I'll go here to find a verse. Say I do a passage lookup, and I know I'm looking for Genesis 49. And I know verse 18, or maybe I don't know that at the time, but I look it up and I'll see verse 18 is what we were looking for. And so I find it there, and then I may go to the BibleHub.com and go to the Hebrew. Oops, sorry, I'm in the wrong place. go to the Hebrew, and that's where I'd find the Strong's number that I want to look up. Then I go to the blueletterbible.org, specifically the lexicon, and I look up that Strong's word. And right away it shows me what all it may have meant in Hebrew. And the other part that I really love is that it shows me all the verses where that particular word is used in Scripture. And as you see, the first place it was used was here in, sorry, the screen's acting a little funny because I have it magnified. It was first used in Genesis 49:18. I have waited for thy salvation. That's the King James Version. Something else I wanted to point out about the Bible Gateway is that you can look up in many different languages. Languages I definitely don't read or understand, but if you have a friend that is from another country and say you think they might like to read it, I'm trying to look at all the languages they have here, say Arabic, which I have no idea how to read or write that, but you'll see that there you have it in Arabic. The one version I really do like, this is somewhat of a new edition. I'm very bad at recording time, but I don't know how long this has been in here, the World English Bible, but that's just one version. I have just given it out free to the public online. But what I like about it is that they put Yahweh back in Scripture, the way it was originally written. So anyhow, I hope these lessons help you. One more thing I wanted to bring up is that you may have some Jewish friends and they say, well, you know, nowhere in the Old Testament does it ever bring up Jesus. And they're right, because, you know, that's an English word that was created in English, and it's only been around as long as the letter J has, but his name in Hebrew is Yeshua. And I'm going to show you it here, right here. You can see that's in Hebrew, Yeshua. These little vowel points, that's something, you know, that wasn't in ancient Hebrew. It was more like this. But take a look at this right here, Yeshua. And we go back to the Hebrew here at the Bible Hub, and right there is Yeshua. And that's what it takes us to in the Strong's, Yeshua. This is actually the feminine noun, and his name was actually a masculine noun, and that's something I'm somewhat unfamiliar with. I know people that speak Spanish would be more familiar with that, but in English we're not used to giving everything a feminine or masculine, I don't even know what you call it. We just don't do that with everything. It's usually just reserved for human beings, but in other languages they do that. So it's hard for me to explain that because I don't understand it. Probably somebody who speaks Spanish would be much better. Anyhow, I hope this was a blessing for you. I just learned how to do this today. I learned it from this guy, W. Thomas LaRoe, here on YouTube. He has a very quick and easy lesson. It is aimed at people that are on Macintosh, which is what I'm on. Take care. Bye.